Good morning. It's December 27th. Here's what we're working on this morning. Sean Cowan has an update on a hit and run that happened on Christmas morning.
A late-night rollover in Fort Erie has left a man in hospital.
And Team Canada kicks off the World Junior Hockey Championship in a winning fashion. Good morning. The last Friday of 2024. I am not Tim. She is not Annette. Simone Gavros.
Louis Bucko.
He's not Brian Wood. Steve, great to see you this morning. You look so festive. I realized that it didn't matter what I wore today because you were in for Brian. It didn't matter what I wore because everybody's going to be talking about how well dressed Steve Ruddock is.
Steve is wearing his best.
No exception.
That's okay. But I'm glad people acknowledge that and notice that, because we do try to look sharp on the morning show. Anyway, today, of course, in between Christmas and New Year's, don't expect a lot of people to be on the roads, but there is a little bit of traffic out there, not a whole lot. Let's check the roads right now. Let's go down, starting with Niagara. First of all, a minute after 6 on your Friday, heading towards the New Year next week. Looking at the Glendale area, traffic is actually kind of what it is normally this time of day. Niagara Street, much the same. Good thing is, conditions are dry today for the most part. Could see a flurry today, but in general terms, we're looking in good shape. Up by the Burlington Skyway Bridge, traffic is obviously a little bit lighter right now. Moving along east of Brant Street, seeing no major problems both ways. Up by the Ford plant, starting to build up just a little bit. So again, there's a little bit of traffic out there, not a lot, but there are little pockets of things. 403 west of King Road, seeing no problems at this point. West of Mavis Road, traffic's moving along quite well. Up by Pearson Airport, here's a good one. A lot of people may be heading somewhere else for the New Year's celebrations. Well, if you're heading up that way, up by Pearson, things are looking in pretty good shape right now. And 401 west of 400, seeing no major problems right now. The roads can be damp. We could see some flurries. And again, it's a day where we hope to see a little bit of sun, but more likely cloud. And we've got a lot of cloud in the forecast. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Steve. An update this morning to a story we first told you about yesterday involving a 16-year-old boy who was hit by a car on Christmas morning. Sean Cowan is live with more. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Louis. Well, this hit and run happened behind me here on Main Street, just east of Kenilworth. And the boy's mom tells me that she got word from police yesterday that police got security camera footage from this area, got a license plate, and arrest has been made. Now, 16-year-old Lucas Henry was hit by a car Christmas morning while coming back from his girlfriend's house. It happened around 1 a.m. while he was crossing Main Street just east of Kenilworth. Police say the car took off and left Lucas on the road. Now, people who were in the area at the time did call 911. Now, Lucas has been in the hospital ever since. His mom tells CHCH News he has been moved out of the ICU to a ward, and things are moving in the right direction, but he is in a lot of pain.
So he is starting to improve. Initially, he was sedated, intubated. He has some broken ribs that punctured his lungs, so he was struggling to breathe on his own. He's got a couple brain bleeds, broken leg. He has damage to his right kidney and a lacerated liver. So they're hoping those two last ones will heal on their own without further intervention.
And no word yet from police this morning on what kind of charges this driver will be facing, but Lucas's mom is thankful an arrest has been made. Simone, I'll send it back inside to you.
Thanks, Sean. A 20-year-old man was reportedly ejected from a car after a rollover in Fort Erie. Our freelancer says it happened around 11 last night on Netherby Road near the curve between Winger and Town Line roads. The man is reportedly in hospital with life-threatening injuries. We've reached out to Niagara Police for details and have not heard back just yet.
The family of a Port Colborne man who has been missing for over a week is speaking out in hopes of finding him. 31-year-old Derek Gibbs was last seen on December 16th in Port Colborne. He's white, 5'10", with an average build. Niagara Police say he was last seen wearing a dark, puffy camo coat, a green hoodie, and a Budweiser toque, and carrying a red gym bag.
It was the first Christmas that I've ever had without my brother. And That's really hard. On Saturday, we conducted a search with our friends and family, going to friends' houses where we know he frequents, areas that we know he likes. And unfortunately, we weren't any closer.
Anyone with information regarding Derek's whereabouts are asked to contact police.
The federal government has not yet responded to allegations made by Indian law enforcement agencies that there's widespread trafficking of international students through Canada to the U.S. India's Enforcement Directorate said in a release that a multi-city search has revealed incriminating evidence of human trafficking. Indian officials say they started to investigate after a man and his wife, along with their 2 children, were found dead near a border crossing between Manitoba and the U.S. in January of 2022. 2 men were found guilty in the U.S. last month on 4 counts related to bringing unauthorized people into the U.S., transporting them, and profiting from it. This comes as Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly traveled to Florida yesterday to talk about border security and trade with incoming U.S. President Donald Trump. Well, an unusual discovery in northern Washington state near the Canadian border. Agents on patrol near a port of entry found 2 backpacks lying on the ground in the woods. Inside, they found 30 brick-like packages containing a powdery substance which tested positive for cocaine. The nearly pounds worth of cocaine estimated to be worth more than $1.1 million. Border officials turned the evidence over to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Under U.S. federal law, most confiscated drugs are destroyed, although samples may be used for prosecution. Rental rates in Hamilton are growing at slower rates. That's according to CMHC's latest report, which suggests the cap on international student study is contributing to the trend. Across the city, the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment rose by 2.3% this year to just over $1,600. That's compared to a nearly 14% increase last year. Now, demand for units near McMaster and Mohawk College saw a significant slowdown in rent growth compared to the double-digit increases recorded last year. The report suggests that while new rental units are being added to the market, higher rents and affordability issues continue to challenge renters in the city. Starting January 1st, online platforms like Uber and DoorDash will be required to report workers' income to the Canada Revenue Agency. This includes platform users who earn more than $2,800 in a year and complete at least 30 activities, such as trips, sales, or services. Now, the rules apply to platforms facilitating services like transportation, accommodation, and personal services. The first reports are due in early 2025, which would cover the 2024 calendar year.
All right, time for sports, and it's the most wonderful time of the year for junior hockey fans as the World Juniors kicked off yesterday in Ottawa. Canada looking to get back on the podium after a disappointing 5th place last year in Sweden.
Bonk back with it. Tired Finns on the ice. Here's McKenna. Loose in front. Good stop. Rebound score! Gavin McKenna has taken center stage. Canada leads 1-0.
Teenage sensation Gavin McKenna opened the scoring while Carter George stopped all 31 shots he faced as Canada opened up their pursuit of a 21st gold medal at the World Juniors with a win. The 17-year-old from Whitehorse is the youngest player on the roster for Canada and is projected to be the first overall pick in the 2026 NHL entry draft. Meanwhile, Maple Leafs draft pick Easton Cowan also scored for Canada, while Hamilton native Matthew Schaefer scored an empty net goal from behind his own blue line right here to put the game away. Now, the 17-year-old blue liner who currently plays with the Erie Otters is projected by many to be a top pick at June's 2025 NHL draft.
McIntosh chasing it, chasing more gold, chasing more history. Here she comes, and she's done it. 1:59.32. It's a world record. It's a gold medal. McIntosh.
Stars Irish swimmer Summer McIntosh has won her second straight Canadian Press Female Athlete of the Year award. The 18-year-old from Toronto earned 52 of 53 votes cast by sports editors, broadcasters, and reporters. McIntosh highlighted her dominant season by becoming the first Canadian to win 3 gold medals at a single Olympics this summer in Paris. She then put an exclamation mark on 2024 by winning another 3 gold medals, all in world record time, earlier this month at the World Short Course Championships in Hungary.
To give Seattle the lead, which he does. Moved it by plenty.
Jason Meyer's 50-yard field goal in the final minute of the first half would hold up as the game-winning points as the Seahawks and Bears played a snooze fest in the final Thursday nighter of the season. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams finished the game 16 of 28 for 122 yards and 1 INT, while also being sacked 7 times as Chicago lost their 10th game in a row.
With multiple three-point makes. Grady Dick off the glass, and Edey is just dominating on the glass, as you would expect. Wells, a pull-up three. Bingo! Jalen Wells.
Canadian rookie Zach Edey had a career-high 16 rebounds as the Grizzlies crushed the Raptors 155 to 129 in NBA action last night. Meanwhile, Raptors head coach Darko Rakovic was ejected from the game in the fourth quarter as he was livid with the officials. Toronto loses their 9th game in a row.
Here inside the building, double team shaded over to SGA. Shea will pull up, 3-point shot. SGA, the biggest of the night.
Hamilton Shea Gilgeous-Alexander tied a career high with 45 points as he helped the OKC Thunder to a 9th win in a row with a 120-114 victory over the Pacers. SGA also added 8 assists and 7 boards for the Thunder, who improved to a Western Conference best 24-5 this season. And how about a little Spengler Cup highlights, where former Avalanche and Canadian Charles Hudon scored a pair of goals as Canada opened up their Spengler Cup with a 6-2 victory over defending champions HC Davos. Now, the two teams won a record 16 times at the annual tournament hosted in Davos, Switzerland. Canada actually looking, though, for its first title since 2019.
All right, let's have a look at your traffic now. 6:12 on your Friday, and you would expect things to be a little bit later. And in some areas, it is on the roads today. But the good news is weather not a factor in the drive. We may see a few flurries, yes, but that shouldn't be a factor at all. Let's have a look and see what's happening out there. One of the usual busier spots up by Pearson Airport, almost any time of any day. It's still fairly busy today. So again, if you're heading up that way, just give yourself a little extra time as we anticipate things to get a little busier there. And looking down towards the Niagara area, we are seeing Niagara Street, no problems out there at all. Up by the Burlington Skyway Bridge, seeing no problems. So it's a good day on the roads. Let's hope it stays that way. Traffic for the most part fairly light, except in, as I mentioned, up around Pearson Airport as we speak right now. But otherwise, from pretty good shape. 13 minutes past 6 on your Friday. What's going on weather-wise for us? Well, for the next few days into the new year, and then after that tails off. But until then, we're looking for warmer than normal conditions. There's a combination of high pressure, which will kind of linger out here on the American coast and out in the Atlantic just a little bit, and also a series of low pressure systems which will slide up here from the south. So we're in the warm sector of both of those kinds of systems, and that's why our temperatures are going to not skyrocket, but we may get to double digits as early as tomorrow. Today, though, still pretty close to seasonal, although we're looking for temperatures 3 degrees above normal. But also coming with these warmer temperatures will be a fair amount of cloud and also showers off and on as well. So it's not going to be pleasant as far as conditions are concerned, but weather-wise, temperature-wise, not too bad. Hamilton -1 right now. Grimsby right on the freezing mark, along with Mississauga, Toronto, looking at 1 degree currently. Your almanac for today, the sun will be up at 7:51 a.m. down at 4:51 p.m. Normal highs about -1 this time of year. We're going to be about 3 degrees above that in most areas. Chance of some flurries this morning, not a whole lot, but there is a chance of that. Looking for some cloud. Wind chill factor, though, to start the day, -7, but it will warm up, and 50-kilometer-an-hour gusts. Tonight's temperatures in around 2 degrees, so it's not going to vary too much today. Light winds and a chance of some showers, and then warmer tomorrow, and we'll check that out in a few minutes.
Thanks, Steve. Well, coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat.
And coming up in business, 2024 has been a record-breaking year in the stock market. We'll have the details in 2 minutes. Let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Emily, what do you got coming up on Chit Chat?
Happy Gilmore 2 has a trailer.
Oh boy!
Yeah. I knew you'd be excited about that.
I'm super excited about that one. So I saw the trailer. I got some comments about it, so I'll save it for Chit Chat. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I had a feeling there'd be some opinions. Okay, and Gladiator 2 you can now watch from the comfort of your own home instead of going to the theater. But there's something about going to the theater, so we'll discuss.
Didn't that just come out?
Yeah, I swear it's still in theaters.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And Cobra Kai, the final episode, the date has been released. So we'll
all right, that is the Karate Kid spinoff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Emily. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
The Canadian dollar is up 5 basis points, still trading below 69.5 cents US. And we'll get more on the loonie in just a moment. Meanwhile, gold is down $14.30, and crude gained 26 cents to $69.88 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were up in Tokyo, down in Hong Kong, and slightly up in Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX was closed yesterday for Boxing Day, but trading on Wall Street remained open. Dow Jones gained 28 points, while the Nasdaq lost 10.
Experts say the next few months are going to be rough for the Canadian dollar as the loonie continues to trade below 70 cents US. A Corpay chief market strategist predicts a further decline in the early months of next year before there's a modest improvement in the loonie through the remainder of 2025. Experts say the Bank of Canada's rate cuts will eventually renew activity in the Canadian housing market as well as among Canadian consumers, and that should help support the loonie a bit. The central bank brought its key rate down to 3.25% this month. But what a wonderful year 2024 has been for investors. U.S. stocks ripped higher and carried the S&P 500 to records as the economy kept growing and the U.S. Federal Reserve began cutting interest rates. Now, the benchmark index posted its first back-to-back annual gains of more than 20% since 1998. The year featured many familiar winners, such as big tech, which got even bigger as their stock prices kept growing. But it wasn't just Apple, Nvidia, and the like. Bitcoin and gold also surged.
A pet food company in Oregon has issued a voluntary recall after a cat died from eating product that later tested positive for bird flu. Northwest Naturals say that the product was sold in 12 U.S. states, as well as in British Columbia. The recall applies to a batch of its 2-pound feline turkey recipe raw frozen pet food with best if used by dates of between May 21st, 2026 and June 23rd, 2026 on the packaging. Consumers who purchased it should immediately throw it out and contact the store for a full refund.
Meanwhile, a number of children's plush toys have been recalled due to a choking hazard. Health Canada issued a recall for 120 units of mother and baby plush toys sold by Chantia Sales. It includes elephant, giraffe, lion, tiger, and panda plush toys featuring the mom and baby versions. The agency says the hard plastic eyes have an issue where they detach, posing a major choking hazard for young children. They were made in China and sold in Canada since May of last year. No injuries or incidents have been reported, but Health Canada is asking anyone who owns one of them to bring them back to the place of purchase for a refund. All right, taking a break now. Steve will be back with traffic
and weather. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few.
All right, welcome back to Morning Live. Time now is 6:23 on your Friday. Roads are in pretty good shape weather-wise. Yeah, there might be a little bit damp. There'll be some flurries out there this morning, but nothing serious. Looking at the Skyway Bridge right now, seeing, again, traffic is fairly light for this time of day, and it's what you would consider in between Christmas and New Year's. A lot of people are off on holiday or just taking the time off. Garden City Skyway eastbound, seeing no problems. Ontario Street looking pretty good right now as we look make the turn from the Burlington Skyway Bridge onto the QEW east of Guelph line. Traffic is building up a little bit, but again, fairly light. Up by the Ford plant, maybe a little bit busier. Checking Pearson Airport up that area. Traffic is moving along in good shape, so seeing no major problems. 401 west to the 400 looking good, and the 401 Avenue Road damp, but looking okay. And again, a few flurries out there this morning in some areas. But we could also see the sun today too, so it's going to be an interesting day ahead of us. But the trend, folks, for the next few days into the new year, at the very least, after that it gets colder, we're looking for warmer conditions, and we could see double-digit temperatures possibly as early as tomorrow. But for today, we're looking at around 2 degrees, which is a couple of degrees above seasonal. So right now we're seeing some cloud here in the Hamilton area moving in from out west and south of us as part of a low pressure system. But we'll also notice over the next 2 or 3 days a rain off and on, a lot of cloud, although today we might see a little bit of sun. Sunday, though, we're looking for, again, maybe some heavier rains, so taking away most of what could be of the snow on the ground right now. So again, a chance of a flurry today. Temperatures up to 1, 2 in the afternoon. We hope to see some sun, but more likely it's going to be mostly cloudy out there. Your evening commute tonight should be, again, under partly clear skies in Hamilton and Niagara, a little cloudier in the Halton area. And looking ahead to the extended forecast, we do see a lot of rain coming, but look at these temperatures into the weekend. Tuesday, New Year's Eve, 5 degrees and rain. New Year's Day, 60% chance of showers, dropping to 2 degrees, and again cooler as we start 2025. That's it for now.
All right, thanks, Steve. A Virginia zoo is celebrating a holiday arrival, a baby hippopotamus.
The baby pygmy hippo, a girl, was born on December 9th at the Metro Richmond Zoo and made her debut on Christmas Eve. Now, so far, she doesn't have a name. This is the third calf in less than 5 years for her parents, Iris and Corwin, and their second calf to arrive just before the holidays. How cute.
Oh, my gosh.
The zoo says since the birth, Iris and the baby have been bonding in their little enclosure. And then when the time is right, they're going to move back to the zoo's indoor pool area so that visitors can take a look at the little baby. And the zoo says that this calf is still nursing and growing very quickly. And I hear that Louis is scared of hippos.
I am terrified of hippos. So it's growing quickly. So hippos can grow up to 3 tons, which is about 6,000 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
And they kill roughly 500 people every year. They're one of the deadliest animals in the world.
But people love the hippos, the famous hippos.
Little baby hippos. Yeah, what are some of the other ones we were talking about?
We got Moodang and we got Fiona.
Any names for this one?
Cookie.
Cookie. Okay. All right. Okay. That's not bad. All right. Stay with us. We got more to come after the break here on Morning Live.
Hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do.